Hi, in this video, we'll take a look at the Axway Amplify Fusion CLI, which was just released in Amplify Fusion 1.17. Here I'm in the online docs, and you can see a Fusion CLI section, and it talks about installing, and it does require Java version 25. Let's go over to the installation instructions, and looks like we can get it from the Axway repository. So you can log into the Amplify platform, and on the home page, you have a link to the repository. I'll click that. We can do a browse all, and I can come down here and find Fusion, and let me filter on artifacts for 1.17, and let me search for the CLI. And there's various different versions. There's a signature file, a jar library, standalone executable, a Docker image. I will download the jar file. Okay, so that's downloaded into my downloads folder. And here I am on the command line. I'm in my downloads folder. And there it is. Let's come back to the instructions here. And just to make sure, let's just verify my Java version is 25. That's good. And let's check. Let's just run it directly using this command. Now this will fail because I have to change the version. So the version, as you can see here, it's 1.0.0. 1.0.0. And there is the CLI, and it's returning the version. The next instruction says we can create an alias. So let's create an alias. And again, that will fail. Let's run this again. I could have just done this in the text editor, but it's easy enough. So now I can do Fusion version. Oh, okay. Path to Fusion, that didn't work so well. So let's do this, pwd. All right, let's copy that. Let's fix my alias. That was silly. All right, much better. And there is version 1.0.0, so I should be able to run that from anywhere. So if I come here to my desktop and run Fusion, there you go. All right, let's continue on here. So authentication is important. You need to authenticate to your tenant. So let me come to a tenant here. And that's the URL that's my tenant URL. Paste that in there, right? Come back to the instructions, and let's take a look at the Fusion auth options. Okay, so I can log in, log out, switch, or do a who am I, and you also here can see a way to log in. And I think I've got that in my history. Bear with me a second. There it is. Okay. That's not my real password. I'm going to change that. But you could do Fusion auth login -u and then username and password, and then the tenant URL. And then if I do Fusion auth who am I, you will get information, and I can see my tenant, first name and last name, etc. So in this video, we saw how to, well, first we discovered that the CLI is now publicly available as of version 1.17, and we saw how to download it from the Amplify repository. We saw how to run it and how to create an alias to it, and then we authenticated into our tenant and did a who am I. And in future videos, we'll exercise some of the Fusion commands that you might find useful in building a DevOps pipeline. Thank you.